난 모를 거야 아마 날.
Hi guys, it's Friday evening and I'm about to leave work, which means it's the weekend, and I'm gonna be finishing the book that I'm currently reading. It's called Hooked, and it's so fucking good. I kind of miss having long bus rides because then I'd be able to finish it before I get home, but now I'm gonna get home and start doing other stuff. But luckily it's audiobook, so I'll still probably finish it, who knows. But I actually have kind of an exciting weekend planned. I'm doing stuff that I don't normally do. It's just one thing that I don't normally do. And I'm going to tell you guys about it.
기분이 나아질 것 같아서.
So, Hooked is a romance book with elements of dark erotica and is loosely, maybe not so loosely, based on Peter Pan. Peter Pan is a book that I've never read, a movie that I've never watched, and I think that was for the best because maybe if Peter Pan was a childhood favorite, I couldn't enjoy Hooked as much as I'm enjoying it now. I currently have 3 hours and 24 minutes left in the book, and what can I say about it? It's good. It's a lot. So I'm gonna leave work and I'll talk to you guys about it when I'm home and I can actually say the words I wanna say.
그 모습만 판단하니까 하나 둘씩 사람들은 날 떠나간 별거 없어.
Hi guys, it's Saturday. Yes, I know what I said. I was there when I said it. I was supposed to update you guys when I get home Friday evening. However, I didn't because I got home, I did stuff, and it just never happened. I'm sorry. But I do have most of today to myself, so I'll be reading for most of the day. So I expect to be done with Hooked by the end of the day. I'm so excited because I was just listening to it this morning and that book. I'm so tempted to make this video a spoiler video, but I hate spoilers myself, so I can't bring myself to doing that to anyone. So I'm just gonna go ahead and read the description that would have been on the back book, which apparently most people read. I don't. He wants revenge, but he wants her more. Ooh. Anyway. I'm stupid. Okay. James has always had one agenda: destroy his enemy, Peter Michaels. When Peter's 20-year-old daughter Wendy shows up in James's bar, he sees his way in, seduce the girl, and use her for his revenge. It's the perfect plan until things in James's organization begins to crumble. Suddenly he has to find the I don't know why I'm laughing. Has to find the traitor in his midst, and his plan for revenge gets murky as James starts to see Wendy as more than just a pawn in his game. Wendy has been clustered away most of her life by her wealthy, cold father, but a spontaneous night out with friends turned into an intense and addictive love affair with the dark and brooding James. As much as she knows James is dangerous, Wendy can't seem to shake her desire for him. But as their relationship grows more heated and she learns more about the world he moves in, she finds herself unsure if she's falling for the man known as James or the monster known as Hook. Hook is a dark contemporary romance and the first complete standalone in the Never After series, a collection of fractured fairy tale where the villain get the happy ever after. It is not a literal retelling and not fantasy. Hooked features mature themes and content that may not be suited for all audiences. Reader discretion is advised. So that pretty much tells you guys everything you need to know about Hooked, and probably everything you need to know about me, because it's kind of sick how much I'm enjoying this. I'm gonna get back to reading Hooked. I have 3 hours and 13 minutes left in the audiobook, and I have a few chores to do, so I'm gonna do that, and I'll update you guys when I'm done reading so you can get my final view on the book. Okay, so I now have 2 hours left in Hooked, and I'm absolutely loving how aware they both are. Well, especially her, because I'm not sure how aware he is, how crazy he is, but how aware she is that he's crazy, and she's crazy for still wanting him. A line that was just spoken. Wonder if I can play it. Is that, should I do that or no?
Pressure on my windpipe increases. My breathing now constrained to tiny sips of air. Panic starts to seep into the moment, the darkest recesses of my mind screaming at me, begging me to remember that this man threatened my life less than 24 hours ago, that he could end it all right now if he wanted, and I'd die a pathetic, turned-on mess.
Girl knows she's crazy, but she's still doing it, and I think that's why I can enjoy this book so much, because it's acceptance that you're wrong, it's sick, but you're doing it anyway. I was reading an erotic um book before this, and I DNF'd it because I don't remember what the name is. I'm not gonna say the name because I don't really like to shit talk books. Somebody might like it, but it wasn't good because they were basically trying, the author was trying so hard to justify and to make it seems as if, oh, even though he's doing this and it's totally toxic and obsessive and wrong, it's right and it's good. No, it's not. Let's just accept that they're doing this regardless of how wrong it is, and that type of dark erotica I can enjoy. Yeah. Anyway, back to you. So I just got done recording and editing my first video in a while, so that's gonna be going up tomorrow, which is the first Sunday in August, and this video that you guys are currently watching will be the next one after it. I am so excited. I did the booktube, not a booktube newbie tag, so you guys can check that out if you want. I'll leave a link to the description below. And now I'm gonna get back to reading Hooked. I think I have 1 hour and 50 minutes left. Yeah, I need to clear up my room and then I'll go back to reading Hooked. I'm so excited. I can't wait to see how it ends. Is it gonna be a happy ending or not? Like, that's what I want to know. Something this toxic really shouldn't be happy, but hey, I kind of hope it is. The first thing I'm gonna do actually is I'm going to read the reviews I wrote on Goodreads immediately after finishing the book, because I find that when I'm done reading a book, my emotions immediately after slightly differs from the following day, especially if it's a good book. So it's still on my mind, but not in the same capacity. I'm gonna try to make this not spoilery, because honestly, I can't give a proper review of a book, or this book in particular, without saying some stuff that's gonna spoil it for anybody who wants to read it. So let me go ahead and read my review on Goodreads, which is spoiler free. Why is this not working? Okay, let's go. So last night at 11:39 I finished the book and I wrote this review on Goodreads. This book was a lot of good and even more bad. The writing was 5-star quality, engaging, entertaining, and easy to follow. The flashback was well done and perfectly spaced. Almost every character in this book is morally grey or just downright evil, which felt true to life. The romance was 3 stars only because it felt a bit too fast for real love. But the erotic aspect was 5 stars. So spicy and mental. Emphasis on the mental. The mystery aspect was a 4-star. I saw most of the twists coming except for one at the end, but they were still well timed, and the groundwork was there, making it believable. The lasting effect of childhood trauma was well done. Overall, I would say 4 stars, but because of how much I personally enjoyed dark romance, I gave it 5 stars. So yeah, bear in mind that this review is coming from someone who absolutely adore erotica and erotic content. So if that's not something you like, skip, because this book is loaded with it, even at times when it's so inappropriate. It's definitely not the worst I've read in terms of the inappropriate erotic content. It's perfect. So on a scale of 1 being PG, I'll let my kids read this, to 10 being I want to bleach my mind, I want to throw up. I hated reading that book because it was just so inappropriate, I'd give it a 7 because it didn't make me feel that way. I enjoyed it, and the characters were consenting even when they shouldn't be. I think I'm going off on a tangent now, but personally the only thing that affects me when it comes to any form of erotic content or kink or anything that's written in book or done in media is when I feel like there's no content, or there's diminished responsibility, meaning the person is slightly mentally ill or suffering with something major, and the other person knows this and still use it to their advantage, which again still borders on not having actual consent. So that's really the only thing that affects me, which also include anybody on the age. Those things I cannot deal with. Knowing how limited my red flags are when it comes to erotic content and book, bear that in mind when I continue, because I can stomach a lot, I can bear a lot. So if you can't, again, click off. But for me, this was maybe just a 5 on the spicy scale. It wasn't that extreme. It was perfect. 5 being perfect, 5 being completely well done. The sex scenes felt true to life. It wasn't glamorized, meaning and everything was roses and petals and everything was just so amazing, because let's be honest, sex is not always like that, and not in the sense that it wasn't enjoyable for the characters. They quite enjoyed their sick fantasies, but the words used wasn't sugar coated. They used straight up words that actual people use for the body parts and describe bodily fluid in a sensible way, and slightly not very it's realistic. That's what I want to say. It's realistic. So bear that in mind. So if you like your female sexual organ to be described as her center, that's not what you're gonna get. You're getting straight up cunt, and honestly I love that. It's realistic, because center is that really the center of the body? Is it? Does it count as a center? What are the chakras again? Okay, so we've talked about the erotic aspect and that it's definitely spicy but perfectly done. As you can see, those are the aspects that I enjoy the most. So you what take a shot every time I say the word aspect. This is I'm not saying that for the rest of this video. Moving on to the romance portion of the book. Was it likely that these two would end up together? Is there actual romance, or was it just intense sexual desire for each other? Somewhere in the middle, which is why I gave the romance a 3 stars. They had chemistry. It was, again, because the writing was well done, it felt realistic, but at the same time I just don't feel like the space of time and with everything that happened they would have like fallen in love in the book. And it's tagged as romance, which is why I'm saying that. So if you're going into it expecting like romance and like, you know, fuzzy feelings and stuff like that, that's not what you're getting if you have no idea what dark romance is. So if you're going into it for romance because it is labeled as a romance book, you're not going to get that type of romance. That's not what it is. So yeah. Now there is a mystery aspect to the book. Within his business and his rival's business, there's a mystery aspect with what's going on. There's a few twists. I would say about 3 or 4. I wouldn't even call them twists because we kind of, as the reader, you saw them coming, which I think the writer intended it to be that way. You saw them coming. Except the 2. There's like 2 at the end. I personally did see one coming, but I can see how that was done in such a way where you probably wouldn't realize that one. But then there's one that I did not see that coming, but it made sense. And then I'm like, of course it made sense. And there's really only 2 things that was done throughout the book to lay the groundwork for that twist to happen at the end, that plot twist. But those two things were well placed, so it was memorable. And as soon as the revelation was made, it was like, oh, okay. Also, that specific plot twist that I'm referring to, this is so difficult to do without actually saying anything. But that specific plot twist that I'm referring to also made the main theme of the book extremely awkward in my mind. It doesn't technically, but in my mind it's weird as fuck, which just added to the sickness that's Hook and Wendy's relationship. Now let's forget about the fun stuff for a while. Let's talk about the actual book itself, the message it sent, and the reasons why I gave it a 5-star. Because most books that I truly enjoy, I give a 4-star. One day I'm going to talk about my rating and how I actually rate stuff, because I feel like it's really different from how other people do it. Or maybe it's not, and I'm just overestimating my own thought processes when it comes to reading. With erotica specifically, it's always like a 3 or 2-star, which is fine. It's what I expect. I get some hardcore sex and light romance, and that's it, which is what I usually expect when going into books with adult content. But books that I give a 4-star in the erotic genre, usually they do the sex scenes extremely well. The characters are likable beyond just the fact that they have great sexual tension and chemistry, and there's a story behind it. Now, what determines if I give the book a 5-star is all those elements: great sex scene, great likable characters, a story behind it. But no, for you to get a 5-star from me, it needs to have a message behind it, and also good writing that's not so freaking cringy, which this book had all 5. The major theme, I would say, behind Hooked, based on my understanding, without spoiling it, is, I would say, mental health and the lasting effect of childhood trauma. And not just from Hook's perspective, but also Wendy's, because you see her thought processes throughout the book and how she viewed her childhood, which was pretty good, and then how she is now, and in my opinion, almost like a spiral into the dark side. And honestly, it's very difficult to talk about such heavy topics and do it in a way where the reader can still enjoy the other portions of the book. It's almost as if you don't think about it until you think about it, if that makes sense. So it's not in your face, but it's there. It's just always there in their actions, in the things they do, the way they react, the triggers that they have. So that was so perfectly done. I almost got a Joker vibes from Hook, in a sense, just his thought processes and how he is. And I can't say anymore. I would just suggest that you read the book if you like dark erotic romance, and please be over 18 and be prepared, because it starts with a bang, is all I'm saying. I was hooked, pun intended, from the first chapter. That's it for my review of Hook. What else am I doing in this vlog? I should be going to the Grand Gala with my sisters. It's Sunday. That's the only other thing I'm doing. I also need to go serve up dinner.
2, 3, go. 난 모를 거야. 아마 날 모를 거야. 웃고 있는 내 모습은 진짜가 아니야. 그래야 기분이 나아질 것 같아서 내일이 오면 나는 또다시 옷을 입고서